Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. Sorry about that. They had to make sure my microphone was hooked up. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you are now tuned in to the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And as always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. So for the people that are catching this live, thank you for tuning in live and catching it here on Facebook, but it will be replayed on our YouTube channel as well. So if you are catching the playback on YouTube and you wonder, hey Prince, how can I catch you live? Follow me on my Facebook, my public figure Facebook page, Prince Dykes NBA, the Investor Show on Facebook, Royal Financial Investment Group on Facebook. Those are places I go live on Facebook. And if you like to catch me, the YouTube channel, it's called the Investor Show. And if you like the playbacks and stuff like that, you know, you got the podcasts as well on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play, you know, whatever you get, you can get a podcast from. We're pretty much there. Pandora, the list goes on. So today, guys and girls, as you can see running across the screen for the people who can see, for the people who can't see, we're going to be talking about Intel versus Skyworks. Skyworks Solutions. So Intel versus Skyworks Solutions. Skyworks Solutions was brought to my attention a while ago. I think it's Courtney Rogers is the one that always kept commenting SWKS. That's the symbol. And you know, I get a lot of DMs, a lot of comments talking about Prince. Can you review this company, review that company, and whatnot? But I was looking at Skyworks, and the thing that caught me was it was a semiconductor. I never really heard of Skyworks, to be honest with you, and it's in the semiconductor industry. That's what piqued my interest because I knew the semiconductor industry was the best performing sector of the S&P 500 last year. So with that being said, I decided to, hey, let me look at your finances, right? So let me take a look at this company. So that's what really piqued my interest in it because it was the semiconductor industry, and I've been, you know, searching all over the place. One industry that I just got to looking at was like the trash industry or whatnot, waste management and whatnot. But semiconductors are very intrigued by because they did so well last year. And, you know, of course, past performance does indicate of future performance. But I wanted to see, hey, let's take a look and see if we can find some nuggets down there in the semiconductor industry. So what I did in the semiconductor industry, I looked up who was the top heavy hitter in the semiconductor industry, and that top heavy hitter was Intel Corporation, a chip that we've probably seen. It's an old company, been around since like the 60s. I think it got founded. And, you know, everybody knows it makes the chips for everything in computers and cell phones. Intel is pretty much everywhere, right? So that's a big juggernaut sitting at 246 billion market cap, right? That's how large the company is. It's the largest semiconductor company in the semiconductor sector, according to market cap wise. Also, it has total assets. It has a total asset of it has a total assets of 136 billion. Very large company, right? So I wanted to see how did it compare against this Skyworks company that really knew little to nothing about. So excuse me if you hear me talk crazy doing this. People may say, "Hey Prince, why you don't know this is about semiconductors?" I may not know. I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you the truth, right? So I'm gonna remove these glasses. That's kind of like, you know, what I use to read and stuff like that. For people who have never seen me with glasses, I very rare wear them in public or whatnot. But anyway, what we do, I pretty much pulled up their SEC filings. I looked at their 10K reports of 2019. I didn't look at 2022 funding because it's only one quarter, but I looked at 2019. So the first thing we're going to look at is total assets. The total assets of the company is no secret here. Intel is way bigger. Intel is 136 billion versus Skyworks is at 4.8 billion. So it's a little baby. It's also sitting at 17 billion market cap, very small compared to an Intel link. But that's not always just because you're small doesn't mean you're a bad company. It means that Intel has probably a bigger brand, and it's just a bigger company in general, what gives it a competitive advantage. Sometimes just by being big, you get a competitive advantage. For all of my people out there that play sports or football or whatnot, if a guy walks on the field and he's 6'8" and he's 250 pounds rock solid, he can have two left feet. But guess what? he's going to get the benefit of the doubt just because he's big. And that's what a lot of companies' competitive advantages are. People just do business with you because you're a juggernaut. You're big. Everybody knows you. You got a strong brand, right? Nothing wrong with that. But here, I just didn't look past that. I already knew Intel Leak had a bigger brand. So that wasn't something I was too worried about. When you look at both of the companies' network, let me bring my notes over here. When you look at the company's network, you have Intel Link is worth 101 billion, and then also you have Skyworks, which is worth 4.3 billion. And when you have a company worth 101 billion, is just a way bigger company. Nothing too fancy there. You take the total assets of the company, 136 billion for Intel Link minus the liabilities, which is 35 billion, and then you look at that's how you get the network total assets minus total liabilities. Now, another thing that we're going to look at this is the king right here, debt. Why is debt so important, right? Why is debt so important? Why does Prince look at debt of a company? Debt of a company is so important because when hard times come, companies that have debt, they turn into a debt management company. Patrick Bet Davis made something very famous when he said, with me, he came on my show and he said this. He said, Prince, three things are going to happen when you see companies go into a hard time, like we're experiencing right now with the pandemic. Companies are going to survive, companies are going to go away, and then companies are going to thrive. So when hard times come, companies that have a hard debt, you see what the airline industry did. They went out looking for money. They needed money. They had to go get bailouts and things like that. So guess what? You didn't hear about Facebook needing a bailout, right? You didn't hear about certain companies that had large Berkshire Hathaway needing a bailout, Microsoft needing a bailout, Apple needing a bailout, because three things happen to companies. Either you're going to go away in the hard time, you're going to get stronger during the hard time, or you're just going to survive. So if the company doesn't go away, the second thing that it does if it has a lot of debt is it's going to go into a survival mode, meaning that it's just, it's just like if you lost your job. Take yourself for example. You lost your main source of income. The first thing you're going to do, you might turn off your cable. You may not go out to eat as much. You may not drive as much. You may not, a lot of things you're going to cut back on. That's what companies do, the exact same thing. They cut back on a lot of things. Why is that a bad thing? I want a company that's going to survive in the bad time. Like prime example, I know this is off topic. Facebook, I made it not known, but I wrote about this the other day where Facebook had zero debt with a pile of cash. And then it just came out today that Facebook, I think they brought GIPHY, they brought a company for 400 million. That's what big companies do in a downtime. When a downtime hit and when you have no debt, you're looking to inquire. You're going to look to buy that house. You're going to look to expand and grow. You're going to look at opportunities like this as a golden time. So I pay attention to a company's debt because when a hard time comes, I want to know who is going to be trying to survive versus who's going to be trying to survive, right? Who out here is going to be trying to thrive? Did I say thrive? Maybe I said that next. But I want to know who's going to be trying to thrive versus who's going to be hanging on trying to thrive. Companies with a large amount of debt, they're going to be the ones trying to survive, aka the airlines, versus companies who have little to no debt with a pile of cash. They're the ones that's going to go eat the little guys. So I pay attention to companies' debt. That's what I do and whatnot. So that's why, yeah, let's get to some of these comments. Suit EA said, I'm watching. It's watching. Thank you. Then Wayne Sutton said, finally caught you on Facebook. Nice, Wayne. Thanks for catching me. Zeta Extra. Okay, nice. But anyway, so we look at the debt of the companies. We look at the first company. We have debt on hand for Intel was 25 billion. In 2019, they reported 25 billion in debt. This is just for what you call it, right? Versus not Southwest, but Skywalkers. I don't know why I said Southwest because SW, but Skywalkers is pretty much 343 billion that I saw in long-term 343 million that I saw in long-term liabilities. Now, people may ask the question, wow, I didn't know Intel had $25 billion worth of debt versus another company has 343 million. These companies are two different sizes. So what you have to do, you have to use a debt to equity ratio. You have to use a debt ratio to break it down to percentages. Goes back to this. Just because somebody makes more money doesn't mean they're a better investor. Because if person A made $1,000, person B made $100, Everybody going to say, obviously, person A made more money. They're a better investor. But if I was to tell you person A who made $1,000 started off with $1 million versus person B who made $100 started off with $10, you would change your perspective, right? Because you're going to look at the percentage. You're going to be like, wow, one person made less than 1% versus another person made 1,000%, right? Just hypothetically speaking. So when we break that down, Skyworks, not Skywalkers. Skywork has a better control of his debt. Number one, when you look at the net income of the company, you look at the net income, or no, let's look at the cash of the company. That's what I want to go to next. We're going to look at the cash of the company. Semiconductors, the Skyworks has 185, not 185, $153 million in net income. Sitting in his cash account, it has $851 million versus Intel Link has $4 billion. So when you look at, okay, well, with just the cash in their company, they can pay their debt off. Just the cash that Skyworks has in this, that it reported in 2019, it can pay off its long-term debt. So it has little to its debt that it has is very, very manageable. It's just like somebody saying, yeah, I owe $10,000 on my credit card, but I also have $20,000 sitting in my checking account. So literally I can take the money out of my checking account and pay off my debt if I really wanted to. So that's what I mean. That's what I'm really saying about that. Let's look at some more of these comments everybody's making over here. Aaron said, greetings, Aaron. He said, Wayne said, couldn't win the Robert Kiyosaki and Pat Bet-Davis book. Yeah, you got to be quick on the draw sometimes, man. I try to, when I have guests on, sometimes I bring up their books so that people can, a way to expand out the knowledge that they're putting out there or whatnot, right? So we look at the cash on hand. Of course, Intel is a way bigger company, so it has $4 billion in 2019. It reported that it had in cash, versus Skyworks only reported that it had $851 million. But I always like to look at the cash versus the debt. So Intel has $4 billion in cash, but guess what? When you look at on the downside, they have $25 billion in debt, right? So Skyworks' debt is very, very, very manageable according to its cash. If that makes sense, let me know if that makes sense to you guys and girls who are catching this live. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So it has debt, but it's very, very, very manageable. That is something that I like. Why is that something that I like? Because that means that Skyworks has a pile of cash that it can further expand, right? Now, the next thing we want to look at, the business, the simple thing. I'm not a semiconductor person. I'm not very well versed in the semiconductor world, but I do know, but what I do know is that I look at the business. How does this company make money? So when you look at Intel, they only make money. I won't say they only make money, but they make money two ways. They make money through PCs, personal computers, and their data. They make money through their data some type of way, right? Majority of their money from 2019 came from their data-centric services, right? So it looks like they manage some type of data or whatnot, versus the semiconductor company, Skywork. I want to see how do they make their money. Skyworks, come to find out, they service pretty much everybody. They connect the world. Their customers are Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Bose. Is just a limitless amount. It seems like they kind of do something. They may do something in Bluetooth as well. But I like to look at a company's business model to see what is their business, how do they make money. Simple thing. Now, the big thing that separates Intel versus Skywork is big on 5G technology, right? 5G technology. So 5G technology is the next big thing that everybody's talking about. It's going to be the next big thing or whatnot. So that's why Skywork, when you look at it, it's trading for a little bit over $100 versus Intel Link, which is a way bigger company, is trading for $58, because stocks don't trade on for what they're doing today. They're trade on for what they're doing tomorrow. What you're seeing in the stock market today is a leading indicator of what's happening tomorrow. I'm not investing my money based on, hey, you did this in the past. I want to know what does your future look like. So Skyworks is a hot company right now because of what it could do in the future. So you have two type of investors. You got number investors, then you have vision investors, right? The numbers guy is mostly kind of wide lean. You're going to crack open the books and look at the numbers to see if it's a good investment. Versus the vision guy is don't even care about the number. He knows that Uber is going to dominate the world of rideshare. Even though Tesla numbers look horrible, I have the vision and I believe in Elon Musk. That's what people think, right? So when they look at two type of investors, some people don't even look at the finances. They go straight to the vision because they believe in the vision of Elon Musk, right? Versus somebody like a Warren Buffett, a fundamental person, they're going to be like, this don't make any type of sense, right? So that's the two ways I want to look at the investing world, right? So that's the two ways I like to look at the investing world with going forward with their whole business model. Now, the next thing we're going to jump into, let's take some of you guys' questions. Wayne said, "What do I think about Nokia and the cash?" The last time I was that Nokia that I looked at, or was that Motorola? I can't say about Nokia. I don't know them off the top of my head, Wayne. I was thinking about Motorola when it came to the top of my head. Aaron says, "Makes sense. Cool, cool." Now, when we look at their revenue streams, we kind of touched on their revenue streams. Why this is so important. One thing that makes Facebook beautiful, it has no debt and a large pile of cash. Something that uh, I said a couple of days ago, right? But the thing that hurts Facebook to me is their revenue streams. They only have one revenue stream, which is Facebook advertising. So that scares me when you only have one way you make money. That's like the only customer, you only have one customer, only the government. And if you lost that government contract, the company just disappears. So if something happens to Facebook advertising, it's going to be, smoke in the city with Facebook. But the good side of Facebook, that no debt with a big pile, cash pile, that's a big thing. Plus, they have $2 billion worth of revolving credit that they can use at any time if they wanted to. So, but that's to another video. So, revenue streams, when it came down to Intel Leak, comes from two customers from two places, from what they do in PCs and what they do with data. They make chips and things like that. Then plus they do something with data centric, which I don't clearly understand. I'm not going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh yeah, I know all this about that. No, I don't. I'm smart enough to know what I'm dumb at. Right? So I don't know what that is, but that's what they're making majority of their money, right? With some type of data centric service or Intel. Now, with Skyworks, what I like about them, they're connecting the world. That's their whole mission. They're trying to connect everybody. They're trying to use 5G. They're using Bluetooth technology. They're connecting, they got Amazon, Apple, all these they're pretty much connecting to everybody. And they are very aggressive into the future of 5G, which we all know the world will be communicating on. So now, revenue streams, I do like both of them pretty good revenue streams. They're kind of tied hand to hand on that, right? Now, one thing I won't say that I don't like, but just heavy in the semiconductor world, they spend a lot of money on research and development. That's not good for me because I want the money to come back into the company and to raise the value of the company, which comes back to investors. But just the nature of their business with the chips and stuff like that, they have to spend a lot of money on research and development. Something I'm not crazy about. So now, when we do the debt ratios, when I did debt to equity, Skyworks won. When I did debt to assets, Skyworks won because it has low debt. I love to look at debt of a company. Who do they owe? Because I want you paying me back instead of other people back. That's one of the reasons why Warren Buffett left airline stocks. He's like, you guys got to pay the government back. That's putting your hand in my cookie jar. I don't want your hand in my cookie jar. So now comes down to who's the winner. Drum roll, please. Intel versus Skyworks when it comes down to comparing the two companies and why. Right? Intel is it's the biggest company on the block. It's a big company. Great. It's a very sturdy investment, right? Pays a nice little dividend. Had a great year last year, decent year so far this year, even with the COVID-19 going on or whatnot. But when we look at the world of the future, when we're looking at the future, when we look at the customers, when we look at the future, and we look at owing debt, the answer and the winner to me would be Skyworks. Prince, why? They have little to no debt with a pile of cash. One. Two, multiple streams of revenue. Their customers, it's a long list of Fortune 500 companies that support them. That's two. Three, when you look at what they're big on the future of 5G. I'm not investing today because of what you did on the past. Intel Inc., we know you're good, you're strong, or whatnot. So does that mean I'm going to buy Skyworks today? No, I pretty much put it on my watch list. Right, it's about $103 right now today. Two, another thing. Four, I think I'm at four. Right, yes, it's very risky in the new industry, but also they have a pile of cash and the debt is very manageable. That's why debt. What makes people go broke is their debt. Right. Now they may acquire other smaller semiconductor companies. They may acquire some smaller ones. They're looking into the future. They may acquire some of their competitors during this hard time. So Intel seems to be the big company, almost like an IBM or whatnot. IBM was the big juggernaut before Microsoft came along, right? So when I look at the world of that, I would choose Skywork Solutions. I'm very new to this company, just started looking at it probably about a couple of days ago and just researching it, going through the SEC filings, going through their 10K reports, looking at their different finances, looking at their fundamentals. What do they do? And what are they going to do in the future? Right? Wayne says, I just started investing. I believe I'm a vision investor. My bad for all the comments. I caught you on YouTube when you streamed Berkshire Hathaway meeting. I rock with Pat Bet Davis too. I saw Berkshire meeting. I invested that day. Thanks for the motivation. Wayne, appreciate it. Yes, Yahoo Finance was tuning in too. They didn't like me streaming that to you. But it's cool with they actually emailed me while I was live. But it's cool. Shouts out to Yahoo Finance. They helped me out a lot. But yes, you are right. He's saying that Patrick Bet Davis from Valuetainment, good guy there. Um, good guy who came onto the show. And the thing about it is, what you want to do, you want to have a little envision when you evaluate the company, and you also want to have some fundamentals. Just don't get so caught up on the vision. That has burned me in the past. Being too caught up on the numbers have burned me in the past. Tesla looks horrible when you break out their books, right? GM looked way better than a Tesla, but that's when you need a little vision. Versus sometimes when you get too much vision and you just think that, oh, this person can take over the world, and you end up with something like an Enron, right? Or you end up with a company that everybody just was so hype on, but nobody looked at the fundamentals of the company, and the company ended up going bad. Here's another secret sauce, ladies and gentlemen. Always look at who's backing somebody. So many people in the world have talent. So many people in the world have so many things that could be done, but you got to look at someone's backing to see who's really backing this person. 82% of Skyworks stocks are owned by institutions. Institutions like BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, big investment firms own Skyrock. 82%. Versus Intel Leak has 62% that's owned by institutional investors. So Skywork also has some big backing as well, with 82% of their stocks being brought. Somebody said, hey, Prince, why do you invest in the stocks? It's a scam. All the regular people are going to lose their money. All the rich people, the stock market is ran by wealthy people. The stock market is, most people that own stocks are wealthy people. Majority of the stocks that the two companies I told you about, more than 50% of them are owned by institutions, meaning they're probably somewhere in your pension fund or somewhere in the index or somewhere that you may own. So that's my way of looking at it. Wayne said, I'm numbers too, big bro. That's why I asked you about a Nokia. They just signed deals with Microsoft, Facebook, and T-Mobile. Okay, all right. Well, okay, Nokia might be doing something. I know they're a little bit older. I haven't looked into that company in a long time. I do like Microsoft and Facebook. I can't say too much about T-Mobile. But I kind of hope they help you guys and girls out of a breakdown of looking at the SEC filings. Nokia, I might have to look into. But breaking down these particular companies, I hope they help you guys and girls out. I'm not going to be on here for too long today. My winner between Intel and Skyworks, if you want to take that risk, you want to be riskier, take a Skywork. If you want to be more conservative and collect the dividend, both of them pay dividends, go with an Intel, right? So When I look at it, it's a good chance to, I won't say today or whatnot, but the probability is all I'm looking at, the probability for the future. So I like those two companies. That's what I like about Intel. So I won't say go out and buy that today, but add this to your watch list. If you have a Robinhood, a E-Trade, a TD Ameritrade, or Charles Schwab, put this on your watch list. Put the two companies on there. See how they perform. You know. So that's what I want to say. Kevin, what's going on? Kevin, he said, "Hey Prince, you consider having Charles Payne on your show? Would love to hear his opinion on the current market." Oh, Charles Payne, Kevin, I saw your DM. I just didn't get a chance to get back to it. Right. I will say this: my history with Fox people, even though I know Charles Payne and his people obviously tune into the show, but Kevin, congratulations on your book. I hope you enjoyed the book. Pretty good book. But the thing about it, what I learned about Fox people are only allowed to be on Fox. That's what I noticed in the past. I would try, but I noticed in the past when I saw people, when I meet majority of people that I've met, news anchors and people that have shows with Fox, Fox only kind of wants you to be on Fox or its affiliates. So they build your name, right? They build your name, but you just can't jump on, because what they take someone like a Shannon Sharp, right? Shannon Sharp was on CBS. Shannon Sharp gets with Fox. Fox put a bunch of money behind you to build your name, build your persona, and then they don't want you to take that name and persona that they invested in and then go build up their competitors over at ESPN. So that's been my personal take on a lot of Fox affiliate people. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely reach out and try. Roland said AMD. Yeah, AMD was the hottest performer. I didn't look at AMD. I didn't compare AMD to Skyworks, but I know AMD is in the subtractor. They're in the subconductor sector as well, and they were the number one performing stock of 2019. The whole semiconductor industry was big, but AMD was the first one. But I didn't compare it to the other ones. Yes, Cash App has these stocks. You can buy fractional shares on Cash App. You can buy You can invest in this to Skyworks for $1. You can buy Intel for $1. You can buy Robinhood for $1. Robinhood got fractional shares now. They reinvest dividends, so it's definitely open to big people. You don't have to be a millionaire to buy. Have to have $1,000 to buy Google. Anybody can buy Google today. All right. But anyway, guys and girls, for the people that's catching this live, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode and breakdown. Drop some comments below. Like I said, don't forget to, if you're following me here on Facebook, check me out on YouTube, check me out on Instagram. The Investor Show on YouTube, the Investor Show on Instagram. Also, I have the Investor Show on, all the platforms for the podcast, for the people that like the audio, clean their room, listen while they work out or whatnot. Check us out on iHeart, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, all of the good stuff. So, but some places don't even know where we at. Sometimes, Pandora. I'm like, oh yeah, we're on this platform too. So that's cool. But anyway, I thank all you guys and girls for the support. I hope y'all got something out of that. Happy investing into the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else crazy you see me do around the globe. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. And thank you.